All right, good evening. I'd like to start with asking Mr. Quillen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Regards to the minutes from April 24th, 2025, zoning board meeting, any questions or comments?
No.
If there are no questions, may I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for April 24th, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Mr. Smasinow?
Yeah.
Mr. Akari?
Yes.
Mr. Quillen?
Yes.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Chairman Terhune?
Yes. All right. So first on the agenda is 1394 Armor Road. The applicants are applying for 2 area variances to rectify a building encroachment at their parcel on 1394 Armor Road. The proposed variances coordinate with the proposed lot line adjustment, which will result in a need for relief for a side yard setback of relief of 10 feet from the 50 feet required, and a minimum lot frontage relief of to 34 feet from 50 feet. The 2,400 square foot barn is located 44 feet from the side yard property line shared with Jordan and Reed Keefe. An area variance was granted from the Zoning Board of Appeals on November 26, 2024 for 6-foot relief from the 50-foot side yard setback requirement established in the R2 zone. At this time, the applicants have agreed, or the applicants and the owner of the neighboring property have agreed to the proposed lot line configuration. So now can you come up and give us an overview of the nature of the variance, why you're seeking it, which hardship you are experiencing, and what relief you are seeking for, if I did not get it correct?
Oh.
My name is Peter Zacheus, and my wife Joan is with me this evening. We are seeking a 10-foot relief on the side of the barn from 44 feet to work on the lot line adjustment for the future. So there was a turn in the barn, which my daughter and I and my wife have agreed upon, over to her and have this matter settled in our family. We have a situation where in order for my back property and my front property to be joined, we have to have a passageway along the north side of the barn, which we're asking for a 10-foot relief, because it's only, we're asking for 34 feet along that area in order to keep it adjoined. And that is the only access that I have in order to turn the barn over to make it for my daughter. It's either do that or go, in order to enjoy my property, is go straight across. And then it would not, she would not be able to have the barn, which is not fair. So we have come to an agreement, my daughter and I and my wife, and that's why we're seeking sort of a hardship situation with this situation. It's farmland. It's not like, you know, in the city or in a development. It's out there in the fields, but I'll take any questions.
Oh.
Can you pull up the map, please? Okay.
Can I walk to the map?
Huh?
Can I walk to the map?
Yeah, please.
Take the microphone with you.
Yeah, you could take the microphone.
There you go.
Here we are here. This is the area that is still in, our name, our.
Yeah,
And this property around here, and this still is ours, but this back in here, plus all the forest land in the back is, majority of our farm. This is the proposed lot. We hope to join to my daughter's lot over here. Okay, and this is the barn that she built in 2012.
and it sounds like, I just want to make sure I know last time we were concerned with the lot line adjustment. That's good now. It seems like the same one that was proposed before.
We are.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to try to summarize it a little bit for you?
Sure.
Yeah. The applicant came before the board in November of 2024 to bring the actual barn into compliance with the area and bulk, the side setback.
Yep.
He was granted the relief from 50 feet to 44 feet. The applicant is before you, the board tonight, for a relief of 180/20, which is minimum lot width, which is a continuous path from his front parcel to the rear parcel. He has to have 50 feet. So he's asking for 16 feet of relief for the 180/20, and he's asking for a side setback, which will create the new side setback for his lot line. He's asking from the 44, which you granted, down to 10, which is a 34 foot of relief on a side setback.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Now the side setback relief, we'd have to move that to the other parcel, correct?
This would go with this.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah. So, and
The applicant's trying to, the section where it says proposed lot line adjustment on the
Yeah.
map is currently Mr. Zacheus is he's trying to do a lot line adjustment to grant that parcel and attach it to the parcel in the front, which is labeled Jessica Carter.
Yep.
So by granting these variances, it'll allow him to do the lot line adjustment in the building department, create the lot line adjustment with deed changes and so on and so forth to process it.
and your daughter's everybody's all in agreement with this as
Yes,
they stand right now?
we have I said a contract with the application. We all signed.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at everything. I apologize for that, but I just wanted to hear it.
The minimum relief, I know last time we were talking about, the concern was getting farm equipment in general through there. Is that still a concern? I would imagine.
I am satisfied with the 34 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to get a tractor or a truck or
Yeah,
anything through there.
again, the tractors that they use for commercial hay equipment isn't the same as the tractors John Deere down the street.
Sure.
Okay, they actually fold out into 16-foot wings,
Yeah,
so it gets to be quite a piece of machinery. They could do my whole farm in a day, all hay in one day, cut, mow, and put away. On.
Mr. Chairman, the 34 feet does meet all the fire code requirements for fire lane and fire access as
Okay.
well.
Would that have to be through the other
Well,
parcel?
it's a continuous parcel right now. So if they were to get to the back parcel, that's going to be the main thoroughfare to the
Yeah.
rear parcel
Okay.
from Armor Road.
yeah.
And it exceeds the minimum requirements for a fire lane.
Yeah.
But it's not a roadway.
That jet,
What?
that jet.
What do you mean not yet?
Well, I haven't taken the stone wall out yet because we haven't gotten approval.
So you're,
I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking if you want to subdivide that, that's not
There's no
an
subdivision.
official road.
I am not allowed to subdivide my property any further.
No. Whoops. Okay, I just trying to understand.
Any lots that I was allowed to take off of my property have been taken off. Most of them were to my children and some to private people, but there's no more subdivision from our property.
Unless it changes hands.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know what, if the town changes the zoning laws, things could change, but
Yeah.
let's say I don't have any more lots.
I understand.
I can subdivide.
Bill? If
Yeah.
it changes hands, can it be subdivided?
If it meets the minimum requirements of the subdivision laws, I would believe. Be a question if there's any deed restrictions, you'd have to ask Glenn.
Okay.
But as far as subdivision of property, you have the basic requirements of 154 that have to be met. If the applicant meets the requirements for 154 and there's no pending, I guess deed restriction that says it couldn't be, then if he meets there in bulk, he can be subdivided.
But like he stated, you're not subdividing anymore.
Yeah.
No more property.
76.
Yeah,
No,
no. That's good.
okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Which property will the easement go with? If we grant the easement, will it go with the proposed the new lot or will it be with your existing lot?
the
Existing.
The existing lot, okay.
Yeah. The existing, yeah.
That's his access from, he owns where the barn is currently right now. He just wants to subdivide the barn off. And this is what he has to do in order to have a continuous lot and not create an issue. He needs the 50-foot by code, 50-foot minimum to connect the lot, to keep the lot continuous. And he's asking for relief of that 50-foot down to
He
34.
wouldn't be subdividing.
Now, the easement before goes with which lot that was granted before?
There was no easement. It was this area variance for
Oh, the very.
it was an area variance for Mr. Zacheus because the barn, it was less than 50 feet from the property line. So he came in to bring the lot into compliance.
Right,
This here, this
Yep.
barn was.
It's 44.
right,
Yep.
yes, yeah,
This has changed hands since we last met.
okay.
Okay, so you told that you sold that.
Okay.
So the lot is in compliance right now with your variance, and he's asking for these to bring his lot into compliance to create the lot line adjustment.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Any other questions?
No, not for me.
Not this time,
No.
Okay.
but he should, well,
What?
the contract's got to be notarized when we get it.
We didn't, any problem with that? That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be, right? Should be
Well, the
notarized.
deed, I think you're referring to the deed.
Deed,
Ultimately, you're gonna
Right.
have a deed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Just
They'll have-
paperwork, just trying to make sure that you
That
got
happens
everything you need.
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay.
happens. We gotta grant them or whatever.
Right, it's not do anything until they get that.
Yeah. I'm good with this.
Haven't they, so.
All right. Does the board feel the application is complete?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
All right. Can I have a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Who was the first?
Mr. Quillen?
Mr. Smassino?
Yes,
Mr. Akari?
Yes.
Mr. Quillen?
Yes,
Ms. Stevens?
Yes,
Chairman Terhune?
Yes. And may I have a motion to schedule a public hearing for this application for next month, June 26th, 2025 at 7 PM?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll do that.
Mr. Smassnow,
Yes.
Mr. Akari.
Yes.
Mr. Quillen,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mayor Kuhn.
Yes. Thank you. All right, next is the applicant and owner of Martin Foods of Burlington, which owns the Hannaford, right out the window, is applying for a rear yard setback area variance in conjunction with a submittal to the planning board for a minor site plan modification. The applicant proposes constructing an approximate 1,100 square foot addition to or for an exterior receiving room and grocery storage area at the rear of the building. This 6.23 acre parcel is zoned in the town center with the airport district located immediately adjacent to the western property boundary. The project is also located in the runway protection zone overlay district. Transitions pursuant to 18021 transition requirements between districts. The applicant is subject to the more restrictive rear yard setback requirements established in the airport district zone, which is 75 feet. The applicant is proposing a rear yard setback of 60.1 feet. And this project is subject to County 239M review and comment by the Saratoga County Planning Board due to its proximity to the Saratoga County Airport and is located within the runway protection zone. We have not received any comments back yet at this time. So now can the applicant or a representative give us an overview of the nature of the area variance, why you're seeking it, what hardships you are experiencing, and exactly what relief you are seeking, if I didn't cover it.
Absolutely. Thank you. My name is Rob Sasser with Time Bond Engineering. We are representing Martin's Foods of South Burlington and Hannaford Brothers. You gave my whole entry spiel. Thank you.
Nice.
So this project is a receiving grocery storage room at the rear of the building, which is on the western property side. It's mainly to improve operational efficiency, enhance employee safety, and support the increased demand of the community food supply. In addition to the building, we're actually also proposing a concrete loading and landing ramp. There's going to be protected bollards and some removal of electrical equipment associated with an electrical transformer. That's the equipment pad and containment curb and bollards associated with that. For justification, our variance justification, as far as character and neighborhood goes, the addition maintains consistent with the existing site, the existing parcel. It's located within the existing development footprint of the building and it aligns with the compactor area and maintains a drive aisle for the property, access, delivery, and fire. We looked at alternatives for feasibility. However, being a restrictive zone adjacent to the airport, we are limited by the no-build. And so this location being the receiving area is actually optimal. It fits within the existing function of the building. Our request is, we're considering minor. It's a 20% reduction in the setback for being adjacent to the airport. There's no environmental or physical impacts proposed. We submitted an environmental assessment form that identified that. And while self-certified, this is it's for the community and it's supporting increased food supply and demand. So this 15-foot rear yard setback variance is critical for the existing store.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So
You pulled the
your,
map.
the original distance is 75 feet. Is this on the, what runway is, or is it near the taxiway, or this is on the runway, east-west runway, or the north-south?
It would be east-west, I believe, because the building is
Yeah.
north-south, so it's adjacent to the eastern
Okay.
property line of the airport.
It's like northwest, southeast.
I see you have ballards there. Now, with that runway being that close, if there was an accident, plane or jet, because we do get jets coming in here during August.
In track season.
And during the racing season here. I see like 3 ballards here at the one part of the concrete landing, and then I see one at the ramp, end of the ramp. My concern would be that that ramp area there should have additional ballards, I would think,
Sure.
because of a plane went off the runway, that would directly go between those 2 ballards.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just to clarify, there's a runway descent and a runway approach, and that is the descent.
Descent.
So they're flying over the top of Hannaford and landing. So the plane, the motion of the plane is coming right over this building and down to the runway, if that clarifies it at all.
That would, yeah, that helps.
Okay.
But like I say, still I would think you'd want some additional ballards between that one point in the ramp and the other side.
Okay. Yeah, usually bollards are about 6 feet on center. We probably should put a few, I know this is current action in front of the planning board and they may or may not have.
And then they're usually 5 foot in height, 4'11" with a 5 foot, with a yellow shield on top.
Correct, yeah, and these 8 foot diameter bollards, they have a plastic shield on them. They're all yellow.
And they're usually scheduled 80 pipe, and then they're
concrete
usually
filled.
concrete filled and 5 feet in the ground.
Yep.
So I mean, because I end up just doing a project with ballards. So like I say, but the thing is, you want to make sure that you're protecting that ramp area, because if something, God forbid, anything happens, if a plane come down and didn't make it or something, you could have an accident,
Yeah.
Nobody wants that to happen.
Yeah, and as part of this application, we are in contact with the FAA. We're making a submission. It's
Yeah.
gonna be under their review as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
In terms of the location of the receiving room, where is it currently?
Currently here, right where this
Right where it is?
pointing, there's a overhang, and so the vendors come up and they actually unload here. Kind of in the gray area, you can see
Yeah.
a storage Connex box in the aerial. But this is the receiving area currently, so all the vendors, they pull up, they unload milk and whatnot.
So that the loading dock is ending, or the receiving room, right at that 75-yard setback currently? Where it is?
No, the receiving room is currently here on the
And the
screen.
building itself.
The building
On the building
is
itself.
right at 75 right now? Okay. Is there other, areas that this can go? Obviously, I don't know the full, the layout of the interior. But have we explored other receiving areas or?
So we did look, and it's just as a function of operations. When you enter the store, to the right is the grocery, vegetables and other produce, and then there's the deli. And so I think it would require a whole remodel of the interior of the building for them to then provide the storage that is at the back of the store past the meat
Yeah.
and other cold goods. This is just the location that they receive all their food, and it is with their operations.
Yeah. I see where the existing concrete loading dock is there.
To
And,
the south.
Yeah, it's to the south of it. So now the tractor trailers would have to drive up along that, in that 15.4 foot area.
No, actually, if you pan the plan out.
Right.
So the tractor trailers actually make a motion where they come and pull here. This is the loading dock from the
Yeah.
tractor trailers, and then
Yeah.
they leave again. This here is actually a compactor pad for recycling. And so the vendors, the smaller local providers, they would drive through and park their trucks, unload, and then drive out. So there's no tractor trailer traffic through there.
Oh, okay.
It's just like box trucks.
Yeah,
Small-
small
smaller-
SU-30s, SU-40s,
That-
box
that's-
trucks.
Yeah, because that'd be another concern.
Correct.
you know.
Yeah.
Tractor trailers going through there. I mean, if it's a small trailer, box trailer or something like that, or a van or something, it's a whole different.
Yeah, it's like the potato chip vendors and the bread
Yeah.
vendors that come
Okay.
and unload there.
Is-
They'll make their stacks and the
is that-
employees come out.
Yeah, because you'd have to drive, your 60 foot now becomes, 50, 45.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Sir,
I'm kind of rolling the tape back a little bit.
sure.
This 75 foot, and you may not know the answer, the 75 foot area, maybe Bill will know, what's that based on?
So, I don't know. if
How did they
Bill
come
wants
up
I
with
can-
that? Why is
I
it
can help you with
100?
that, Eric.
Why is it,
Eric, you have a rear setback. When you have two abutting zoning districts, you have the airport district and you have town center district.
Yeah.
In our code under 18021,
Yeah.
it spells out that you got to use the greater of the two, which is the airport rear setback is 75 feet. So
okay.
that creates the hardship for the applicant.
Okay, so then I guess the question is, I'm coming at this from like that 6 foot separation business with COVID. Did somebody throw a dart at a board and say, yeah, 75 sounds good?
Yeah,
So
actually,
I'm trying to figure out,
yeah.
if a jet's coming in, with all due respect, I don't think 10 feet matters. If
Yeah.
when it's landing.
Usually I know on Albany Airport or any other airports I work, we have 100 foot clear zone from the edge of,
those are way bigger.
edge of
As
the
big as
runway or
this.
taxiway out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole landing area clear zone
Yeah.
that's covered by FAA.
from
Yeah.
Right.
I
And-
can't tell where the runway ends
Mhm.
from your map here, but that could be 300 feet. I don't know.
It's a significant distance,
Yeah.
actually. There's a whole separate area for safety, and then there's a double safety. And
So,
actually,
I'm trying to get a sense of just how critical this space is, I guess.
no,
Does
understood.
anybody know?
And what I want to point out is actually this parcel is owned by Hannaford, and so it's an adjacent parcel. But along this whole north-south corridor of parcels,
That's-
these are zoned for the airport district. And I don't know the genesis of it necessarily, but it looks like those were given to these lots, for instance, for this building to be built to meet a 75-foot setback.
And the
Previously.
fence goes back through there too, the 10.
Correct. You can see it right
Yeah,
here.
the fence goes right along there.
Yeah, I get all that. I'm just trying to. If I
How
got two
important is
houses
the
next to
75?
each other and there's a 15 foot setback on either, I understand why that is.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'd like somebody to explain to me, well, the statistics are it's 75 feet because,
Yeah, I don't have the answer for that.
well,
It's 75 feet because we imposed it in our zoning.
yeah, I get that, but
That's where the 75 feet.
we're kind of looking at safety and stuff like that, and I'm wondering just how important it is. I guess
Bill,
that's,
if it was just town center setback, what would it be?
I think 20 feet, but let me check real quick.
what I'm saying. It's-
Yeah, normally, like I
Could
say,
be 25.
I'm just trying to,
I think
how
this
important
one's
is
50
this?
normally this is something to do with the county and the town, but normally like
20 feet.
20
bigger
feet?
airports,
Okay.
that have 100 foot clear zone. And the edge
Oh,
of,
sure.
edge of that runway
Me,
out,
that's the whole reason.
nothing can,
Yeah.
Also,
It's gotta
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I see that sticks out as a safety issue that might become a safety issue with the installation of the building, the way that it's set with the curb cut, it's only allowing 15.4 feet
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
the spaces. You need a minimum of 20 for the fire code and 26 for like a ladder truck, but you need a minimum of 20 feet from the curbage. I mean, doesn't change his variance because they can pave a section of that as long as it's not stormwater, and it's not. So they just need to extend their pavement around the back that increase to 20
Yeah,
feet.
to me, that's the
And that-
critical issue is we just want to make sure this is, before I even look at, how important this is, how they say, is this,
Nice.
I'm missing the word, but is it overstepping the percentage of the easement? I'm trying to figure out really what
Yeah.
that is. That's all. I mean,
No, absolutely. And we are in front of the planning board. And actually, Bill, you brought up a great point. We are going to be actually looking with the fire department chief to see whether or not they would grant us to allow that 15-foot aisle, because
Yeah.
currently it's 18. And relocating a access aisle would then require us to relocate the relocated transformer. So we're trying not to we're trying to weigh both, but that is something that is on our
Yeah,
agenda.
again, you have to obtain a variant, not a variance, but
Correct.
approval through the chief officer, of the Rock City
Absolutely.
Falls Firehouse.
That,
Okay, so
that's
there's
like
more
what I was
moving
getting about
parts
the
to this.
trucks, it's a tractor trailer. So the fire trucks, you know, even a little wider.
Yep.
A little wider than a regular tractor trailer.
A ladder truck with its outriggers is around 24.6.
So that could be an issue, you know?
Yeah, and that's an existing condition right now.
Yep.
It doesn't meet the fire code appendix D standard
That's
of the
something
20
that-
feet. Yep,
Has to be dealt with.
yes.
This has to have approval from the FAA also.
Sophia Maruso, our planner, has submitted a letter to the county planning to get their interpretation of the runway. They're out of as the dotted line, as you see, is the
Right.
approach area.
Yeah.
So he's out of the descent, but he's in a secondary, there's a secondary buffer zone for it.
Yeah.
And they're basically, she's asking to give their interpretation of it. She doesn't foresee any issues, and I don't either, but again, because we have 50-foot tall buildings going in a couple 100 feet down the road. So I don't foresee an issue, but again, that's the county's interpretation. And again, by the next meeting, you should hear from them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to
Yeah.
speak on the building height, this is a proposed 23-foot tall building, I think 23, 9 inches, and it is in line with the existing building. There's mechanical equipment that extends higher than this structure that's going in.
Was there air handling units or anything like that mounted on top of this?
Not proposed, no.
Not proposed?
No.
Okay.
It's just to receive the storage, have a
Yeah.
little area for them to, store it temporarily while they then deal with the inventory.
Seems like we need to get some information
Yeah.
before we can really,
Before we can do anything.
yeah.
We need more information.
I think, I mean, it's just personally, I feel like I need to get information, input from the county. I don't want to show up next month and not know
Sure.
and be able to digest a little. Is that, I
None of
I hate
that's
to hold back
unexpected.
projects.
I think like Billy's right from the fire, the
Yeah,
fire.
I want to know what the fire guys are
They gotta-
happy and,
They
does
gotta have their input
Absolutely.
on this.
that make sense?
The
Yeah.
fire
I
department
think, I
have their
think the
input
intent
on
was,
this.
to start the conversation, and we are in the planning board process, and, we did reach out to the Saratoga Department of Public Works with the airport, and so the fire department is the next step, and so, yes.
Because I know they're, they're in the process of lengthening the airport. So you're gonna have more bigger planes coming into this airport because they just built that new facility there. And the
Does
jets,
does that have an impact on the zoning though, or?
no,
No, it's all within the footprint of the existing there.
Okay.
And I don't think it'll have any of the boundaries are not changing because
Okay.
it's maxed out.
Yeah.
Do you have a time, or I know you said you're meeting with the fire chief. Do you have a timeline for that? I just, we can schedule the public hearing. Obviously, we're going to wait to hear from Saratoga County.
Yeah.
If we don't hear back, we might have to move it another month.
Yep.
But I think everyone on the board wants to know everyone else's feedback. Like, is the fire department okay with the 15.4? Obviously, is the county, what are their concerns? What are their comments? So I just want to know, like, if you can get, or whomever, with the fire chief before next month,
Yep.
we'll reach out to the county and see if they can get us a review or comment, before next month too. But I'd hate for, we to come here and then there's still more open questions.
Understood. Yeah, I'm actually in the process. I'm the one that drafted the plans.
You're doing it all.
I'm talking to
Perfect.
the fire department. I have an inquiry, not quite. I wanted to get the plan together.
Yeah.
So I have moved the driveway and we're in that process. And next week we will be submitting those. Hopefully we receive comments back. I think, I'll keep the board in the loop and we can schedule that
Perfect.
tentatively and make sure that you guys have everything you need prior to moving forward.
Yeah.
Sorry?
2 weeks prior.
2 weeks prior.
Correct.
Yeah. So two-ish weeks from now. All right. And the same thing, we're going to try to get an answer from county in the next 2 weeks too. And if we don't, we'll obviously let you know.
Yeah.
Any other concerns, county, fire, FAA. Any other information you'd like to know before?
Well, this is on a physical sense, I didn't realize there was no tractor trailers. Not that I don't care about that, but you have a door, and I could be reading the plan wrong.
Mhm.
It seems like the door is closer to the building, the existing. The door, the people ingress,
Egress?
egress.
Interesting, yeah.
Doing its time in the mud today. And then the bigger door is towards the airport.
For the new addition,
Yeah.
this is the only door proposed. It's on the north side, so it's at the top of the ramp. There is an existing door at the
Okay.
overhead here, and so we're just moving it over
Okay.
there.
And what are they currently, I mean, I understand you said you want more space, provide more, products for the community. I mean, what is the situation now? Are they just outgrowing it? Why are we doing this?
They have a various degree of store sizes, and I don't know the internal workings or what's driving this necessarily. It's just been a directive from Hannaford that, hey, this store has been identified as needing additional space for intake. I could certainly follow up with that as to
It's the busiest,
what level.
busiest one they have,
Yeah,
period. It's the
Yeah.
busiest one they have. So
Busiest, yeah.
what's happening, I mean, I'm guessing here, you get your regular guys with a trailer and all these other guys are coming saying, hey, we don't want to wait around.
yeah.
So you're trying to help your subs,
Yeah,
basically,
and-
to be able to run their carts up the ramp. That's right.
Yeah, we actually designed and built the one down in Boston as well. And so that was a great point because that was driving the back of store. I think we have like 35, 40 feet in the back of store now for that staggered built up of different vendors.
With this addition going on, would there be some kind of remodeling inside the store also?
Not quite identified for this store. Other stores, they are doing remodels of like interiors completely. And those are also getting an additional pod for refrigeration mechanical equipment. This one's not identified for that. It was just the grocery handling storage vendor delivery.
That, okay, so your transformer pad, where it's gonna be removed and disposed, where's, I
Sure.
don't, the new draw?
The other-
I'm trying to
It's
see.
just to the north of the pad or the loading area.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, okay. All right, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't see it. 'cause-
No, it's
kinda faded.
Yeah, it's like faded. It's-
Yeah, if they,
Yeah, this
that's-
right here
yeah.
is the existing one.
Yeah.
And then they relocated it here.
yeah,
That's already done.
That is
Yeah.
existing.
That's
You're
been
just
done?
getting rid of the pad.
Correct.
National
And,
Grid is good with that.
yeah, it was installed and those equipment is installed by the
And
utility
they must
company.
have, they can have, I see ballards around that also.
Yeah.
Correct. And so, well, the impact and the question
Yeah.
about drive access aisle, if we bump this out, this will end up having to also shift.
You
I don't
know,
know, does
what-
that affect?
What would help on your
I don't believe
drawing?
so. It's a utility equipment. That wouldn't affect an area variance if we
No.
relocate
No.
that,
What-
right?
What would help on your drawing is like, okay, so we're transformer pad, this is a new pad, I can hardly see it. If that was highlighted like in a color or anything that's new that's gonna be added would be in a color, like I can see that, the receiving room, the grocery storage building, I can see the removal of the old one, but the new transformer, I mean, somebody, I can
That's
see it.
already there.
That's there.
That's already there,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
that could be highlighted a little better so it's visually seen on this overall drawing.
Sure, yeah, we try to balance the ortho imagery with that, but I can change all that so you can
Because
see it clear.
like I say, that, when you see that and then you see some other things here, I mean,
Yeah, there's a utility pole right where it says 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then there's a
Hydrant.
DI, a drainage structure there with, and then you got a roof leader that's going out to that.
Yeah, I can change the underlay so that the
Just so it's highlighted a little more, because I know not every, I can, I just, made my drawing, built it up out a little more so I could see that, you know?
Sure.
I mean, it'd just be beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, I think that probably what's best is I'll just turn off the ortho because then everything else would pop too.
Yeah.
How much additional room are they getting
About 1,100 square feet. That's,
in addition?
Or-
yeah,
That's
that's,
not just the new size of the room.
no, that's the size of the building itself, yeah.
31 by 30.
It's gonna be like a big garage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
storage.
So there's nothing there now? I mean, the building has to go there, right?
There's actually a overhang where
Overhang.
everything's kind of staged up outside intermittently. And so,
Probably drive by.
Yeah, I would suggest all you guys drive by
Yeah.
back there. There's
Yeah.
trees and, just be careful when you're going. It circles around. It's access, fire access. You drive by and see what they have back there. They have their compacting machine and they have some storage usually,
Yeah.
and some pallets and stuff, but it's routinely cleaned and maintained. Depending on the load, so it'll be,
Yeah.
behoove you to take a look
Anything
at
that's
it.
been new added.
and I think in doing this, it's actually going to clean it up even more.
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
cluttered back
Yeah.
there, so.
Yeah, I mean, with doing this, some of the stuff that's outside now will go away.
Yes. Catch basin, you know, like I say, typical, hey, it's typical, but it's just be, you know, different color or something, just so everybody sees that, and then it gives it, then you get a better idea. Well, here, you know. You know?
Yeah.
I know just from my drawings, when I have a drawing and I highlight,
And you said you could essentially turn off a filter or something. I mean,
There's an ortho imagery. I think that's muddling it.
okay.
It was turned on to kind of show the extent of the
Yeah.
airport. But once we turn that off, I mean,
Okay.
it'll pop and I can modify all the colors to meet whatever,
Yeah.
so you can see it better.
yeah. Because then everybody can see it, and
Watch and blow it
Yeah,
up because of the
even
iPad.
yeah, you know,
That's it.
that's what I do in drawings, I highlight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys need, we will do.
And I think it worked better for the county too. The planning board, they see that, they, you know, get a little better idea themselves too.
Cool. Any other questions?
No.
Does the board feel that this application is complete? Any questions? No. Okay. At the May 14, 2025 Planning Board meeting, the Planning Board classified the proposed addition as a type 2 action. Now we're going to talk to the fire chief, fire department. We're going to try to get back a review from county. So if we get both of those, we'll move ahead with a public hearing. So I'll schedule it. We'll vote on scheduling it for next month, understanding contingent on those two. Any other information we need prior? Fire, county,
No.
FAA.
No, just those three big issues right there.
Okay. Great. May I have a motion to schedule a public hearing for this application next month, June 16th, 2025 at 7 PM?
Oh, move.
Second.
I'll second it.
It's quick.
Mr. Smassenow,
Yep.
Mr. Akari,
Yes.
Mr. Quillen,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Chairman Terhune.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome.
The other thing for the board, Glenn and Leah and I and Amanda were discussing doing a train. You're good. Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you next month.
Yep.
We'll be in touch with them.
Very good.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
Talking about doing a training for our board on Secra and what considerations when looking at an application. Obviously, we have the fourth Thursday of every month already allocated. Do we want to do it on another day outside of the board meetings or after the board meetings? Probably 30 minutes. I want to go through each thing so we understand what's yeah, here.
Yeah, do it here,
Do it here.
the board, the meeting.
You want to do it after the meeting next month?
Yeah. Yeah,
Only 30
at
minutes.
a bar.
yeah,
Do you need
All
a
right.
motion for it?
yeah, motion to be,
Okay, so we'll plan on that. And that's all I have. May I have a motion to adjourn today's
I'll
meeting?
make that motion. Chairman.
All concur.
All concur.
Correct.
Thank you all.
Computer's updating.